Alright, so now this section is all about air brake tests. In the previous video I said that I was going to show you exactly what to do and how to interact with the student on the air brake test and how to do what we call a cab check engine start. This is going to be split into 3 different sections. Right now we're going to go over each section at a different portion. Alright, so make sure that the student does have this paper here. This is the air brake and checklist paperwork that we are going to need. And before we actually get into the truck, make sure the student has watched the video according to the air brake test, so you don't have to start from ground zero. They already have some kind of knowledge. Alright, sir, so you have the paper. I want you to get inside the truck. Make sure when you're climbing inside the truck, you use 3 points of contact. Very good. 3 points of contact, for you guys who might not know, means that 3 parts of your body have to touch the truck at any given time when you are entering and exiting the vehicle. So if it is a one truck, one student kind of situation, and you're not teaching any kind of group situation, you can either stand here, which is preferable because then you can see the student and you can interact with the student, or you can be in the passenger seat as well, as long as it's not crazy busy in the yard. The benefits of standing outside the vehicle is you're going to train the student on a portion of the section that we need, and then it gives you enough time to walk away or keep an eye on different students, maybe possibly doing the pre-trip inspection. Again, your biggest assets as an instructor are your eyes and your mouth. Make sure that you're able to view multiple people and handle a bigger situation. This is going to be a pretty simple training process. All we're going to do is say, okay, please read line number 1. What's the first step? We're going to wait for a response. We're going to make sure that they understand what all these steps mean. Alright, so now that we are ready to start this part of the training, again, we're only going to focus on the first part of the air brake test. Okay, so now I'm standing on the steps itself with the door open. This is going to make me able to see everything that's going on inside here. Also, if I need to keep an eye on different students, maybe possibly doing a pre-trip inspection, I can do that as well. Alright, so step number 1 is going to be what?
Pull to apply parking brakes.
Good, so those are your parking brakes right over there. We're going to make sure that those brakes are both popped out. This is part of a safe start. Next item after that.
Put transmission in neutral.
Okay, so here's your transmission. How do you know you're neutral? You feel a lot of play, okay? The other thing that you want to look for is a spring. So you want to bring the transmission all the way to the left, and if you feel it spring on back, then that means you are in neutral, okay? Sometimes you could be in an older truck, which means you're in gear, but it has a lot of play, so you might think you're neutral. But if you don't feel that spring, you're not neutral. Alright? Next item.
The press clutch to start engine.
So you're going to put the clutch all the way down. Okay, this part is extremely important when you are starting the engine, especially on a newer truck. You're going to turn the key on first, not the whole engine. You're going to let the computer reset. How do you know that the computer is resetting? You're going to let the gauges settle. Once the gauges settle and the clutch is all the way down, now we're going to start the engine all the way up. Very good. Alright, so now the engine is going. What is going to be the next step?
Release the clutch.
Okay, come take that foot off the clutch. After that,
build to 120 to 140 psi.
Alright, so over here is going to be your air gauges right over here. It's very important that you build up to 120 to 140. If you want to build it up quicker, you could do that by pressing on the gas. When you are giving it gas, just make sure you do not bring it above 1500 RPMs. Okay? Most of the newer trucks will speed up fairly quicker. So, now that the air pressure is built, you did hear that sneeze, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the next step is going to be what?
Depress clutch to put in first gear.
Okay, so you're going to put the clutch all the way down. First gear, so you're going to bring the transmission all the way to the left and then back. Good, so you felt that go in.
Yes, sir.
And now what are we going to do?
Shut off engine.
Okay, so shut the key off. Now what are we going to do?
Turn key on.
What step is that?
Step 9.
Look at the camera and say, don't forget step 9.
Don't forget step 9.
The key on is the thing that kills everybody. Alright? So now what are we going to do?
Release the clutch.
Off the clutch. Nice and easy. Now the truck is off. Transmission is in neutral. If this was an automatic truck, it's the exact same situation. Instead of putting it in first gear, we would put it in, we would chuck the wheels. Okay? So the key is on. And next, what are we going to do?
Push to release yellow tractor and red trailer parking brakes.
Alright, so push in yellow and then red first. I mean yellow first, then red. Very good. Next.
Wait for air pressure gauge to stabilize to about 100 psi.
So we're going to wait for the air pressure gauge to stabilize. Anywhere from 90 to 100 is sufficient. So stabilize means that the air pressure gauge stopped moving. After that, what are we going to do?
With brake release, wait 1 minute, can't lose more than 3 psi.
Alright, so now this is very important for the test that you actually bring a stopwatch. For practice purposes, you don't necessarily have to do it. I want you to go through the motions itself, okay? So you're actually going to have to wait a full minute for the test. You can use your cell phone. Alright, after that, what's the next step? The minute has passed. I did not lose more than
3 psi in that 1 minute.
Good. Next.
Press service foot brake, hold 1 minute, can't lose more than 4 psi.
Very good. So you're going to put your foot on the brake. Now when you're doing this, you do not have to put the foot all the way to the floor. Just give it a nice little pressure. And you're going to wait 1 minute. Can't lose more than
4 psi.
Very good. The minute is up. I did not lose more than
4 psi.
Next.
Pump service brakes to 60 psi. Light or buzzer comes on.
Alright, so let's start pumping. Now as you're pumping, make sure you keep an eye on the gauge itself. So right over there, that light and buzzer that you hear, that's because we're below 60 psi. Now what are we going to do?
Pump brakes to 40 to 20 psi. Look at parking brakes until both brakes pop out.
Alright, so we're going to keep pumping until the parking brakes pop out. There you go. They both popped out. And now what are we going to do?
Depress clutch and put transmission in neutral.
Okay, so put the clutch all the way down. Put the transmission in neutral. Make sure you can feel that spring. Very good. Now you're going to shut the key off for me. And that's where I want you to stop. So what number did we stop at?
Number 18.
Number 18. So I want you to focus on between 1 and 18. I'm going to walk away for 10 to 20 minutes. I want you to keep practicing this. The more you do it, the better it is. And as you get more comfortable, I want you to say these words out loud. Because when it comes to the test, you're going to have to mention everything that you're saying out loud to the examiner. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Cool. So, just like the pre-trip inspection, we're then going to walk away for 10 to 20 minutes. We're going to make sure that the student understands exactly where everything is. If you want to go through it one more time with the student, just to make sure that he understands fully what you are talking about, that is fine with me. As long as you do leave him be and you make sure that he does study. Come on back after that 10 to 20 minute period to check up on him and see what his progress is like and see where he's making a mistake or he's not making a mistake.